he's running in. He's like, hold up.
Call it 20-second timeout.
You like, don't be running, man. Don't need to have an ACL.
Not in the rain,
You asked how was it today? It reminded me of my Seattle days. That's what it was. It was cool though. It was good. Good.
Michael, Kobe Bryant had an interception today in camp. What have you seen out of him as he's working his way back from injury, and what do you like about the undrafted?
Yeah, I can just see his love for the game. You know, he loved to play football. He loved to be out here. You know, he got a good connection with a lot of guys in the locker room. But he's been good, man. He's been working. You know, obviously trying to get back on the field, and now that he's back on the field, you know, he's made a couple plays. So seeing what we want to see out of him.
Yeah, Coach told us today you weren't going to be playing Friday night, but, last year I didn't play that much either. But what are y'all trying to transfer to replace that? They got the joints coming up next week.
Yeah, that, and then, I feel like he felt confident in the 3 games that I played last year. If I didn't play any of those games last year, maybe we would be talking about preseason games. But he feels confident in what I can do come game day. So he didn't feel like I needed to play this week, I guess.
And you getting enough work out here?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna be ready week 1.
Talking to TJ earlier, you were saying that like you and Kirk will be going back and forth in the quarterback room, kind of learning from each other basically without their input, and those kind of hang out. Like what kind of things are you talking about with Kirk typically when you're looking at film or whatever?
Just what we see. You know, it could be simple as footwork on a certain play. You know, what's comfortable. What did he like doing whenever he was in there running that similar plays like that. You know, but I'll just say just small talk, football stuff. You know, as far as whatever concepts and stuff we have in there. You know, I asked him like how would he read certain concepts. You know, obviously with him being in the league for a while. He's seen a lot more than me, so just ask him different things like that.
Michael, is there ever a dialogue, in the preseason? Obviously the coaches are trying to look out for you guys, make sure, everyone gets out healthy and you guys are getting good reps in practice, but is there ever a dialogue, whether it's yourself or some of the other starters saying like, hey, like, coach, like, I really want to play the preseason game, but it's like, oh no, you guys are getting enough work out here?
I don't think I've heard that from any of our guys this year. I feel like everybody feels comfortable and confident in what they can do when it comes week 1 against the Bucs. So I haven't heard any of that. But as far as people that want that opportunity, I can't speak for them, so I'm not sure. So.
Lots of reps with Casey Washington today. Curious what you've noticed about him stepping up in Mooney's absence.
Yeah, he's been great. He's been great since he got here. He's a guy that's gone. He got strong hands, and obviously he can make plays down the field as well. But he's been showing a lot of great things, and we're super excited for him. So
that red zone touchdown that you threw to KP, you kind of threw it in a spot where you knew he could go get it. Can you walk me through that?
Yeah. So it was just almost like a red 2. The corner stayed flat-footed, so I had to basically just put it over the top of the corner's head and put it in a spot for him. He can get it like you said, and that's all it was.
Who is pretty excited about your golf game?
Who is?
Yeah, he thinks a lot of upside.
Yeah, man, he always tell me that. Yeah, he give me confidence. But yeah, he need to teach me how to hit the driver straight because he do it every time. So.
You got new irons?
I did. They just came in, so hopefully it helped my game.
You got like golf clothes too? Like you got like a new wardrobe for that? Or?
I didn't get a new wardrobe. I already got a couple fits that I got in rotation. I do need some more though, so I'm gonna be on Adidas.
Did you see Roz tumble out there, Raheem?
Yeah, I was actually throwing that ball.
Your thoughts?
He a coach now. Yeah, he got to lead the DB stuff back when he was playing. But
you said it was a pass interference. Was that a pass interference?
No.
That's what he was saying.
Nah, it wasn't.
Anything else?
We were talking last week with Jesse, and he was talking about some of the conversations you guys had when you were like locker mates last year. Right?
Yeah.
Remember any one like
maybe early on last year where you said, okay, this guy is going to be a great resource for me as a rookie because he really knows, his stuff?
I don't think he would tell me that.
No, I'm saying, but is there any conversation that you and Jesse had last year where you're like, all right, I'm really happy that he's next to me because I can bounce things off him and he knows his stuff when it comes to football?
Oh, as far as me asking him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean I knew that as soon as we came in. I feel like that might have been some thought into putting me next to him. As far as whoever make the locker assignment, so definitely take advantage of that. Always asking him, why he felt like he should have drove on a certain ball. Or I remember it was in the spring actually, and we were running like an out cut by number 3. And he broke on the ball before our receiver even broke on the ball. I'm like, what'd you see there? He's like, I just saw the receiver looking that way, or a certain technique, or the way that we were running the routes, and like just small stuff like that. Because man, when he's back there lurking, he's able to do whatever he wants. It's scary for a quarterback. You gotta always find 3.
Michael, small little scuffle there at the end with James Pierce Jr. I know, obviously you guys don't want fights or anything, but been a lot of talk of his intensity and the kind of intensity he's brought to that defense. From the other side of the football, have you noticed any of that?
I noticed his love for the game. He works extremely hard each and every day. He comes out here, you see him, he's drenched in sweat, and he's out there giving it 100% each and every play. Whatever happens after the play, we definitely want to clean that stuff up. But at the same time, he's a competitor. He wants to compete at a high level, and that's what he does each and every day, and that's what we appreciate, and that's what we're gonna love come game day on Sunday. So. As far as the scuffles and stuff like that, I mean, it's football. It get chippy. It's not always going to be perfect, but obviously, we can't throw any punches. I didn't see it today if any punches are thrown or anything like that, but we can't do, unnecessary stuff. But man, he's a competitor, man, so I like it.
Oops, sorry. Did you see what caused it today?
That's why I said I didn't even see it. I really don't know. I don't know.
What can you tell folks about how Easton and Emory are preparing, since they're going to be getting probably most action on Friday night?
My opinion on them?
Or how they're preparing, what people will be, seeing when they get on the field?
Oh, I mean, those guys are elite, man. They know the offense in and out, and that's obviously, what you want out of your quarterback. You're hoping that, but those guys been great. They've been operating at a high level as well, each and every day. Seeing Emory today getting back to his 4th read, throwing the in cut on the backside to Nick Nash, just small stuff like that. You're just watching those guys and just seeing how they operate. Obviously, Stick's been in the league. He knows what it looks like. He knows how to play the position at this level. He's been in there during game time situations when he was in L.A. and Herbert had went down. But yeah, man, we seeing exactly what we expect to see from those guys. They've been poised and just out there having fun each and every day and getting better. So.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Always review where you're at, and it was actually we got the numbers we wanted to get them to, got the guys ramped up at a nice level last week. I know you guys can tell that last practice we had was our highest amount of reps and accumulated the stuff that you want to get done there. So then you started over this week and you get them ramped back up again to get us into a high practice towards the end of the week again. So feeling really good about where we're at as a team and where we're going to go, and that gets us right into our preseason games to be able to get some guys out there to get some of that healthy, active competition going against somebody else would be nice.
And where are you at health-wise with, against Walker?
Walker be back this week. Hit him one at a time for me, Lay, so I don't mess you up.
Okay.
Walker be back this week and getting back out there in individual and get a couple team periods, and then we'll kind of ease him back in. Probably the next day after that, we'll kind of pull him back a little bit to unleash him a little bit towards that high practice to get him ready to the off day and then get into what we call our preseason game stuff and get ready to get those guys to go.
And Watts, I guess he was missing.
Watts was missing. He'll be back. He'll be back out there today as well. Getting him some team things as well. Getting him to his individual stuff. He ran on the side last week. Obviously, that was preventative maintenance for him, and so it'd be fun to get him back and get all his guys back active.
When it comes to the decision, I know you had mentioned earlier in camp about who is going to play in the preseason. Is it safe to assume that you'll know more about that on Wednesday following the scrimmage, or do you feel like you're in a good enough spot to decide on who you want to see Friday?
I'm in a great spot, but definitely you're leaning the right way. We get a really good feel on after the scrimmage on who needs what you can get somebody, what you can get people. Obviously got a young football team, so there'll be a lot more people playing than we had last year. You have a couple young guys out there that's got to go out there and show some competitive things. You got some positions that are up for battles where you want to see some of those things happen. Obviously, that'll happen within our own scrimmage. That'll happen within the preseason games. And obviously, we got the practices coming up the following week. So, really feeling good about that and feeling good about some of those healthy competitions that's going to occur over the next couple of days.
Raheem, how much talk is there, given that you talked about the youth movement and the veteran element? How do you handle the chemistry project of being ready for Tampa through this evaluation period, knowing what your number is on the back end and how the whole structure works here?
Really got to give our personnel department a lot of the credit for some of that stuff of balancing our roster. We've drafted such high level people in leadership positions, whether it's Drake London, whether it's Bijan Robinson, whether it's any of those type of guys that we drafted, even Kyle Pitts, and some of the leadership that they've been able to show over the last couple of days, and going out and acquiring a Jesse Bates, giving you real leadership on the back end with those guys. AJ Terrell, who's been here, a staple. Caden Ellis being acquired here is also our personnel people has acquired some really good leaders that allow you to go out and draft some of the guys we've been able to draft. And I know the word of the offseason has been edge, to bring some of that edge to our defense, to bring some of that edge to our team. Just in general, kind of like our O-line had already had, right? Our O-line has edge. Nobody talks about our O-line having edge, right? So it's like bringing the edge to the defense, getting those guys together, getting those guys to go out there and play, and watching those guys all form and bond, right? And then it's teaching those things too, right? Very teachable moments has happened in camps with some of the fights and some of the things that occurred. Not wasting time. They understand it more. They understand it better. It becomes less and less. It becomes stop, go back to the huddle. And it's really when it's player-led, that's when it's the best, because they know what they don't want to waste time and don't want to miss. That's the best part.
Follow up to that, how does that fit for these 3 games?
For us, I think it just goes into it, right? How much you pour into your guys, right? That leadership on the sideline, whether you're playing or whether you're out there with them, no matter what the case is a big part of it, right? When it's time to play and they say you're going, you're full go. And that's just how our guys go out there and react, whether it's practice, whether it's games, whatever the case may be, whether it's in the meeting room, just attacking every part of our day, our nutrition, the whole body, holistic wellness that we want to do with our players. And I think that's the big part of what we do. That is a very annoying sound. What is that?
I think it's outside.
Is that a cricket?
It sounds like a cricket.
That's disgusting.
That is sick, right?
What do you need to see from Carlos Washington in camp for him to take that next step in his career?
Carlos is he's done such an amazing job since he's been here. And everybody's just blown away by this cricket right now. They can't stop looking at him. He's done such an amazing job since he's been here, right? Just the development of Carlos, coming in, becoming a pro, and then really focusing on his nutrition, then really focusing on him owning everything in our playbook, and now focusing on him taking the next step of being a guy that can go out there and get some reps for us in live games. And watching him really mature throughout the course of last year was absolutely awesome. And when you give a guy a helmet, you move him up from the practice squad, and you put him on a team, and the team all knocks it up for him with that true enthusiasm. It lets you know about the guy and the makeup of the person. So I've seen a lot of growth from Carlos, and I've seen him get ready to get into these preseason games, take the next step to, try to get some significant minutes out there when it counts.
Coach, we had talked in the spring about James Jr. and how you kind of put him with AJ because you saw similarities between them when they were rookies, when AJ was a rookie. Just wondering how that's going with that mentorship process.
I think AJ's done a great job just kind of getting him into the program. And I think now James has done a great job of really opening himself up and really asking questions to everyone. I've seen him talk to O-linemen. I've seen him talk to coaches. I've seen him talk to different players. And is really talking football and ball and just trying to grow and learn. He even showed you guys a little more personality than he ever shown in his last press conference with you guys. And it's he's growing and he's developing, and he's learning, he's getting better and better every single day. And that's a part of the program. That's a part of who we are. That's a part of everything we would think of when we bring a player in here to try to develop and help them be the best version of themselves.
Coach, safe to say, and we have to ask, no quarterbacks, number 1, number 2 are not going to play Friday.
Yeah, I mean, Penix won't get out there, and Kurt won't get out there, so we'll see Stick, we'll see Emory. That's probably the most definitive thing that I can tell you right now. There'll be a lot of guys play, and there'll be a couple that won't.
Raheem, on the practice script so far in training camp, it looks like there's no, if little, 11 or 7-on-7 group sessions. How did that come to be? And and why?
I am not a 7-on-7 guy. I think it's unrealistic for the quarterback. I think it's unrealistic for the DBs. I think it's unrealistic for the coverage. You will see some 7-on-7 coming up because there are different coaches that have different points of opinion on that. But I'm not a 7-on-7 guy. I love for the quarterbacks to feel the collapsing of the pocket or to get comfortable in the pocket. And I think that's a major part for us and a major part of how we grow. I got a bunch of coaches on my staff that are very like-minded. And that's just not something that I'm just a big believer in when it comes to those things. You will see some one-on-one pass rush and some of those things get implemented. Some one-on-ones from receivers, DBs get implemented this week. I just wanted to implement these guys and kind of ramp them up to what it looks like when you do those one-on-one things in pads and non-padded practices and things of that nature, or padded practices, to get them ready for those things. But I'm just not a big 7-on-7 guy. Right, but you do have some coming up.
You said from the start that you want Jalen to focus on one spot. I realize one spot is a lot for a rookie to pick up.
I'm sorry, you said Jalen?
Yeah.
Yeah, right from the beginning, we got Jalen going, obviously, as a rusher. You want to implement those things and get those things going, which you want him to do, right? We talked about being able to get, I forget Terry's word, but pass rush players. Avi says that. He has a real cool word he says about that, like rush players. But, he's definitely one of those things. And then as he gets comfortable and more comfortable playing, Avi missed a little time last week, but you're able to move him around a little bit more because that's a big part of his strengths and what he did at Georgia. And I think having to go out there and do some of those things for us will definitely come into play. But right now we've been really focused on him being a rusher on the edge, and those other things will come as they start to ease into our packages.
When you say as he gets more comfortable, do you mean during this rookie season or further down the road?
This is going to happen pretty quickly. I'm just saying as he gets more comfortable out there, moving around the system, the talk, the communication, all those things. He's already, starting to pick some of those things up because when you're in there, you're cross-training with some of those different things already. So he's already started to pick up. Very smart, very sharp, very detailed guy, which you all guys already know. So nothing you worry about from that standpoint, but you just want to give him a chance to be comfortable doing something first, see that happen, come to life, and now you start to move around, do some different things.
And one more, you mentioned last week he was impatient to get out there. And
yes.
You had to hold him back.
He's very impatient.
Clearance to be out there, do you have to kind of be careful as to how much he tries to show from the start?
Yes, I think that's part of our player education, right? It's like you got to communicate with guys. You can't assume. The minute you assume these guys are getting, what's up, Jeremy? The minute these guys, you kind of sit over there and be not just all quiet in the background. You try to, you got to get these guys rolling, right? You got to be able to communicate with these guys, tell them exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, what is this for, what are those things for? Like, those are the things that you got to communicate with those guys to let them know how it's going to go. So today, when he's going out there and he'll have his full speed Indy and whatever we allocate for him as a team periods, that'll be it, right? That's the cutoff point. And you just ramp them up as you get into those things and full-blown communication, and that's when you have the issues, when you don't communicate those things with the players the right way.
Because he was chomping at the bit and on you a bit to get back out there, when you told him that finally he's able to get eased back into practice, what was the reaction from Jalen?
He's not a big reactionary guy, just kind of give that look like I told you, very sarcastic look, very sarcastic face, love him. But I definitely know the intent behind Jalen and what he wants to do and how he wants to do it. It's all to get out there, Maria. He wants to play. He is not a believer of taking care of his body when it comes to coaches. He's going to take care of his body himself, and sometimes you got to protect him from himself.
Going back to James for a second, we've talked so much about the positive things that you've seen from him in practice. What do you want to see him get better at right now?
It's just a boatload of things that he can get better at. Obviously he asks a lot of questions in meetings. He's done a nice job of doing that stuff in the meeting room, and he's done a nice job of doing the stuff on the practice field of really turning his aggression to being a positive outlook on everything. His turn and run has gotten better. There's a couple of things you can get done on how we want to run, how we want to pursue the ball, how you want to become just muscle memory for him when he sticks his foot in the ground and chases down plays, because he has so much speed, he can affect us that way. So some of those things we can get better at, but those are just done over time and just done over coaching and not relenting. And I think our coaches upstairs have done a great job of not relenting with the coaching points that he's getting.
Coach, it's kind of felt like the methodology of playing a lot of starters in the preseason, really across the league, has kind of been uniform in that you don't really see it a lot. Do the starters on your team kind of itch you, to be like, hey, I want to play, and you're kind of holding it back, or is it one of those things they kind of understand at this point? How does that kind of go?
I don't think it's necessarily our team. I think it's every team in the National Football League. These guys want to play football. That's what they want to do. But as a coach, we go find ways to mitigate injuries, and we go find ways to get the people that we need to see and to get them in position to go out there and play, which is really, really good for us. So, you can kind of use whatever theory you may have as a coach and whatever theory you may want as a coach, all these things are very important every step of the way, whether you're talking about practices, the games, you're talking about your own good on good, iron sharpening iron, all the things that we say, all the cliche plays that we say. But, whatever is need for that player to go out there and get those things done is what you got to do. And then obviously, Jesse Bates will come wanting to play and do some things. And you may not feel that way about it, and you may not want him to get out there in that situation. But sometimes you feel that way. I remember Jalen Ramsey, when we were at the Rams, he wanted to play every snap. He wanted everything to be full speed. He didn't want to do walkthroughs. You got to kind of control all those things. So it's the same way in football. You guys have been around it for a long time, and these guys love playing.
Coach, you talk cool on Mooney still?
Same as last week, same as we've been. Whatever it's been, I think we're at the full week now, so we got a couple more weeks.
Coach, you talked about the edge that this team is developing this year, the attack style that Jeff Ulbricht's bringing. How do you think the players on defense have adjusted to the new defensive play caller?
I think guys are like really excited when you get a chance to unleash and uncoil some things that you want to do, no matter what it is. And I think Brick brings a certain excitement and certain exuberance to the room that guys want to go out there and display excellence. You guys heard him say heart, mind, fist a million times since he's been here, and like he says it every day in the meeting. He starts with it every day, and I think those guys are starting to develop a real trend for themselves on how they want to establish that when they go out there and play, practice, perform, meetings, everything that they do. So you do everything, you do anything like you do everything, and like those guys are going out there displaying it every single day, and I'm loving it.
Do you think that's kind of lended itself to kind of the aggression that you've seen from James this offseason, or is that just something that's just part of who he is?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's lended just to James. I think it's the whole defense. I think all of those guys have kind of been playing that way. I think it's just the relentless attitude, the stuff that they're establishing within those rooms and how you coach it. That's just how he verbalizes that day. That's how he pitches it that day, and that's what he decides to go out and do. And it's just getting better and better with all of those guys. But it's still a certain point of learning how to practice, which he's gotten so much better at the last couple of days. And I know you guys have seen it. We've all seen it. We've discussed it at nauseum almost, especially Mark. He loves that stuff. And he's asked every player on the football team about the fight. He asked the guy he asked the guy one time that wasn't even in the fight about the fight. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm picking on him. He wants to ground and pound every single day.
Gotta have context.
But and then fighting's not a part of it. It serves a little bit of emotion, but it's like how do you play as hard as you possibly can to get those things out, like these guys been able to do, and I'm really just fired up where they're going.
Got time for one more?
Yeah, Coach. How do you? Coach Smith was saying that Jay was falling behind a little bit by missing the floor practice. How you try to catch him back up? When you get him back out there?
Coach Smith is right in his own room. Right, is what it is. It's not about falling behind. It's like about you want to get him out there. That's what he was trying to say. And it's like for Jalen, this guy, and we know this guy really well as far as from a preparation standpoint, who he is, and we also know our performance side really well. Whether you're talking about Jake, whether you're talking about Griff, and that whole performance crew, and what you need to do to get this guy ready for ultimately what the most important goal dates are, right? And that's obviously the first game of the season. But getting them back out there so you don't waste time by losing them a little longer because of the mindset of my coach and or my player having the same type of mindset I get. And that's my job to get in there and to make sure we're ready to do all those things to get them ready.
All right, thanks, Al.
Have a good one.